table the treasurer's report to make modifications and give the treasurer time to review the report. The treasurer received the report on Friday. He sent an email on Saturday stating discrepancies that he saw within the treasurer's report. So my question is, and this is to the treasurer, these discrepancies that are being brought up as far as dollar amounts and totals and various different things, I'm pretty sure I did not see that in the email. Is that what you notated? The same questions that the mayor and other trustees have brought up about the inaccuracy of the numbers. Did you bring that up in your response?
Yes, I did. Everyone's received a copy, I believe, of my notations that I addressed and to Cecilia, then also to the finance and to the manager of the village. And I did address these TIF dollars, these actual TIF 5 and the other TIF revenue transfers in. Also, I addressed the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund funding that actually came out of employees' checks and supposed to go directly into the village's fund accounts. Debt service bonds. I don't know if we actually received any dollars for debt service bonds, but those dollars are every single dollar that we received. All the receivables for the year of fiscal year 2016-17 should be addressed inside this treasury report. All payables that we received, that we actually transferred out in fiscal year 2016-17 should be addressed in this treasury report. And my concern is that when I looked at the summary report did not coincide with what the breakdown of expenditures and also revenues as well too. Another big concern of mine is that the year-end closeouts. We have not, as a village, have not closed out our year-ends since, I don't know, for maybe a couple of years now. And I was told about 3, maybe 4 months ago that our year ends were going to be closed out for fiscal year 2016-17, and they have not. Now, what concerns me is that you have to understand that when you closing out your year ends, it actually shows everyone, even the treasurer, everyone up here, that we have balanced our books. Our debt funds, our funding accounts were actually reconciled with our bank statements. And so this is what that shows. Right now, this is not showing it because we have not closed out. That's my concern.
First, under revenues, IRH just did check the numbers. It does come out to $11,456,745.45. My second question, Treasurer Dilworth, since you mentioned this, which trustees did you send correspondence to in regards to your concerns? If you can tell me that would be greatly appreciated. Can you share that information?
The people that I sent my correspondence to is Cecilia, yourself, and I actually forwarded the mayor a copy. That's who received it. So that's it. I forwarded her my concerns, and I forwarded her a copy of the treasurer's report. So,
Mayor.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trustee Wilson first. Not trustee.
Is this in relation to the amendment?
Oh, yes. Yes.
What's the name?
Is to the numbers that I ran off that you needed the total on?
It is in reference to that.
Okay.
So, Treasurer Dilworth, you said that your summary totals didn't match what was the total on revenues and expenditures. What are your summary totals? Do your summary totals match expenditures or revenues once Trustee Payton add his numbers?
okay, well, When I say summary totals, what I mean that the summary sheet, I don't know if you received a copy of the summary sheet, but if you look at it, it does not match the actual, the total, which is of the summary sheet that's up here, the revenues of $6,921,131 that was received in. Well, of course, it does
I'm
not
sorry,
match
slow
11
down.
million.
Can you slow
I'm
down?
sorry.
When you say summary sheet, we have a sheet here that says annual treasurer's report for the fiscal year.
Yes.
Summary by
Yes.
fund. Is that what
Yes.
you mean when you
That's
say
it.
summary
Uh-huh.
sheet?
Right,
Okay, so that's the summary sheet.
that's the summary
And you're
sheet.
saying these totals don't match this treasury reports that summarizes revenue
Yes,
at 11,400,000 something.
Right.
And
As you
expenditures
can
don't
see.
match.
yeah, as you can see, look at it, 6.9 million in revenues does not match 11.4 million over here. It should match, those totals should match. Also expenditures down there, it should match the total expenses, the breakdown. Look at the breakdown sheet, the second sheet. As you can see, $11,456,745.45 does not match the summary total of $6,921,131. Those two should match, but I understand the reason why it does not match is because that our year end has not been closed out. I
That's not
understand.
true. That's not true.
So, okay.
That is
Actually,
not true.
let me make a statement. Mr. Treasurer, I greatly appreciate the information you're providing. It's a wealth of information. My question is, you say there are a lot of inaccuracies of the report. Have you been in to see any source documents that was used to put this report together?
No, I have not.
Have you seen any documents referencing any of the accounts payable, the expenditures, the payroll records, or anything they used to make this report?
No, I have not.
So how can you say that the report is inaccurate? You haven't reviewed any documentation at all in regards to this report. On Friday evening, Ms. Kelly sent you over this report. You sent us a one-paragraph response on Saturday, which was Sunday, which said a lot of different things in it. Some of the stuff applied to the treasurer's report, some of the stuff didn't apply to the treasurer's report directly. As far as year-end closeouts and the accounting system, I know when we met 2 weeks ago, the expectation was telling you that the closeouts would not be done because we're still reconciling and doing a forensic audit on the general fund account and the various other accounts that is being used for the accounting system. So this is not new information that's being shared here today. This is not new revelation. I would respectfully say thank you, and I appreciate the input you're providing. IRH has just verified the numbers on one section under revenues. We just went through the whole addition process under that section, and that $11,556,745.45 is correct based on adding all the numbers there. I know IRH has looked and attempted to verify all this information that's being submitted, which is why we delayed the treasurer's report from being provided to the board. My question is, do you have any concrete evidence due to reviewing source documentation to show that it's in error?
Yes.
Okay, what source documentation do you have?
We actually looking at each line item here, and you know what, I stand correct. The actual total should be total of the 6.9 plus all of the totals of the summary sheet here that adds up to 8.8 million. That's what should be, the numbers should match that number, because this is what we received, we are supposed to have received within the year of fiscal year 2016-17. All these revenues here. So here's the source here, okay? When you look at what was done by the finance department over here on revenues, if you actually look to see if police pension fund and fire pension fund dollar amounts were in there, it's not in there, correct?
They are.
Hold on a minute, I'm still talking, okay? If you actually take a look at the IMRF fund, okay, those dollars should actually, because I'm pretty sure that the retirement funds, dollars are coming out, for other employees as well too. University Golf Club, those dollars actually should be in there as well too. The town center operations, you should have dollars in there. I don't see it in here when it comes to revenues. Yes,
Can we let them answer those one at a time?
yes.
Because I was wondering, with police and fire pension funding, should that be counted under revenues, IRH or attorney? Should police and fire pension be listed on, or village manager paid? Ooh, that was hard. Different. Should police and fire pension funding be listed under revenues?
He said that they weren't listed.
No, my question
But
is.
they are listed.
So that's a yes. Police and fire pension funding should be listed under revenue. Is that correct?
I have a question.
Well,
Yes.
okay, so I'm looking at revenues on this treasurer's report. Where would I find police and fire pension funding? Is it lumped in with something else, or should it be its own itemized? I'm looking on the treasurer's report where everything is all lumped together. Is it
But
merged?
That is this table that you're looking at is a summary by fund. When you look at the first paragraph of the treasurer's annual report, the 11 million that he's referring to, 11,456,000, refers to all of the things that were listed above. Video gaming taxes, real estate taxes, income tax, municipal sales tax, the tax anticipation warrant for 2.5 million, local use, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, help me, I'm trying to break it down even further because I'm a little slow.
Okay.
Where under revenues, if it's on the summary page, show me on the summary page, where is police and fire pension funding listed either on the summary by fund sheet or in this sheet, this treasurer's report?
I had a,
Hold on.
could I just ask one quick question?
Sure.
Isn't the treasury report covers mainly the general fund?
No, it's not just general fund.
Not
We actually have other fundings that it covers. As long as dollars are transferred in to those fund accounts that we control,
Yeah.
we should report that on the treasurer's report.
Okay. Trustee Wilson. Okay, so thank you. So, okay, I'm just trying to break it down for clarification. So I'm looking at the summary by fund. Trustee Payton just says by fund. And the first chunk of paragraph is the funding, ending fund balance. What numbers from that fund should be on this revenue?
The beginning fund balance was the ending fund balance for the previous year. All this shows is kind of like, almost like a cash flow statement. So you have the balances from last year, and then the next column, which is revenues, is the revenues that we received,
Right?
and then what was spent, and then what it would now be the ending fund balance, which would be the beginning balance for the next treasurer's report.
Correct. So this first section, there's a revenue, is a total of 8,820,000 and some change, right?
In addition, again, if IRS were here, but the
Well, we have
$8,820,000 is included in the $11,456,000. That's why that's higher, because these are fund balances. These, what you see here in the first paragraph are all the revenue.
And there's the beginning.
Okay, can I just say
I don't
something
know what
here?
the accounting requirements are, but that's what they follow.
Okay.
So I guess there's some consistency in reporting amongst all of the communities in the state.
This summary report here that you guys are looking at is probably about 3 years old. So all of these numbers are from 3 years ago, and it was included from the treasury report, 3 treasury reports ago, plus last treasury report, and now district treasury report. So I've been looking at all of the treasury reports that I have seen, and this is these numbers are not consistent.
Well,
Someone put 2016 through 4/30/2017. They just changed the dates, but these numbers are the same from 3 years, 3
Well,
years ago.
I don't totally, I agree, I hear you, and you and I have talked a long time, and then I talked to Chief Pate about this. and we came up with the same understandings. However, some of these payments, I don't know if it's 3 years ago, I can't see that, but I know some of these are not factual. I don't know if IRS is given all the information correctly, but I know we paid, with the attorney, Mr. Diamond, more than $10,000, because I know his bill was $1 million. So I know we've been paying him bi-monthly because he's director. So I'm trying to understand.
Okay,
I know we pay more than that, so John, could you elaborate on this and make some type of clarification?
well, I know Jucelia Kelly worked diligently on extracting numbers from accounts payable. In response to Treasurer Dilworth's comment, the numbers that are presented in the report, the beginning balance numbers are rolled forward from what was presented with last year's treasurer's report for ending numbers. The revenues and expenditures are current fiscal year 17 numbers. They're not just rolled over or a repeat from a previous report. They're numbers from fiscal year 2017. The only thing I can... Pardon?
Rolled over from 16.
16,
Right.
end of year 16, roll over to beginning of 17.
Correct, thank you.
The only thing I can see as I'm looking at this is there is included in the detail for revenues a $2.5 million TAW loan, which I suspect is probably not included in the numbers for revenues in the front page. That would account for the bulk of the difference between the $8,820,000 and the $11,456 for the detail. So I suspect that it's that.
Okay.
Which is a fund as opposed to just revenue. Mayor, may I?
Yes, one.
Because I did get a copy of Dilworth's email. It was actually sent in the package. It was difficult to open because it was part of it was sent using Outlook mail, which I don't use. But in his concerns, one of them he says, "I do not see police and fire pension funding." Well, the report shows police and police pension funding and fire pension funding. Okay. He says also TIF 5 and other revenues were not in there, and there's a whole section for TIFs, TIF 1 through TIF 6. Okay. He also said that there was the TAW that we mentioned, the tax anticipation warrant for $2.5 million. Okay. He said that he didn't see any revenues for debt service bonds, but we do. If you take a look at the report, there are debts for the 2003 bonds of $473,077. And others that total $613,954. Okay, where you see on the table it says debt service funds. So, so that's in there. Okay. TIF 5 had that he mentioned $9,776,407 in it for revenue. Okay. Now, yeah, well, he said, revenues also from TIF funds weren't there, but the report says that in total there were $12,358,992, but, I'm assuming that if you take out the capital projects of $283,742, the net for the TIFs was $12,075,250.
Instead of assuming, can we get some factual numbers so we can make sure?
These are as factual numbers.
Okay, you said.
May I finish?
Okay.
These are as factual as the numbers we have because of the disarray of our financial statements. okay, and our recording of financial information. You know, Treasurer Dilworth is correct that we haven't closed the books because we haven't entered a lot of stuff, hadn't been entered. So this Treasury report, which is required by the state by a certain date, is the best information that we have. Just like the last several years, it was the best information that we had. Okay? If and when they close the books and they find that there's a difference, then we can file an amended treasurer's report. But for right now, we need to amend what we have here that we were just given, you know, the information that I provided, and then as they get a little further down the line to make certain that the information has been properly entered in the books closed. If there's a difference then from these numbers, then we can always file an amended report.
Let me just clarify something here, because I want you guys to understand, okay, before you pass this report, that the summary by fund report, the first page of it, is not correct. It's not corresponding to fiscal year 16-17. And let me tell you, let me just read the correspondence between myself and Jacilia. This is Jacilia saying, "Good morning, Treasurer Dilworth. I hope that your morning is going well. I have attached a copy of the prepared and updated copy of the 2017 Treasurer's Report. Also, I have included for your viewing the cover page, which is the summary report right here." Okay? She says, "I have included for your viewing that the cover page of the Treasurer's Report, please note that the cover page is a reflection of the numbers in the fund balance system for fiscal year 15-16, and they will not change until the system is updated." So there you are. That's it. This is not a current summary
But
report.
that's what Trustee Payne said. He did say that.
Huh?
He did say that. He did.
Yeah, so I don't know why, if everyone is looking at this summary report and looking at these numbers here, because these numbers are wrong.
Yeah.
And then I can prove to you guys, if you go back and take a look at your treasury reports from last year, that these numbers are the same. They're the same numbers. So they're not updated fiscal year 16-17 numbers. And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
First of all, if you haven't taken a look at the actual documentation, then, you know, I find it difficult to believe that you can provide a factual opinion on it. And just one other last thing, hopefully. You have in your email that says, "Not passing this 2016-2017 Treasurer's Report will make it less expensive to borrow money, obtain bonds, lines of credit, etc." So how does not passing something that's mandated by the state make it cheaper for us to borrow money? That doesn't even make sense. Because if anything, you're in default of complying, and you're at greater risk. So why would it be cheaper for you to borrow money? It just doesn't make sense. And that's all I got to say.
Trustee Payton, just a real quick question. Treasurer Dilworth, since 2011, how many treasurer's reports have you completed? Like physically completed every single page done that you sat down and completed? I'm just asking a question because I'm asking for my own subject matter because I'm not sure. So I'm just asking a question.
As a treasurer of the village, I am the eyes and ears for the residents of the village. My job is not to complete any financial statements within the village whatsoever. My job is only to overlook what you guys have completed, and that's it. And if I see problems with it, with my experience in accounting, okay, with my experience in accounting, my degree in accounting, My job is to make sure that the board is actually accurate in what they're doing and the residents
So you're saying,
understand.
it's not your responsibility to complete the treasurer's
It's
report?
not my responsibility to complete it.
Okay.
Madam Treasurer Dilworth, I'm listening to you, and you're saying it's not accurate. Well, I guess the question I asked, well, how far, or I guess Manager Pate is asking, do you have any documents to prove these things? I'm just gonna, how far off are we then as far as numbers if you're saying this is not accurate? What is it, you know, I'm straight to the point. How off are we here if you're saying this is not accurate? I know you may say this is last year's number or last year's, close to last year's document, and then I'm gonna ask, wow, how far are we from last year and then this year, what it should be?
Trustee Brooks, I do not know how far we off, and the reason why is because that I have not, first of all, have not taken a look at the village's general ledger whatsoever. I have not seen it since, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago. So when I did go into the village to take a look at it, remember what I told you, I ran out of there due to the fact that they didn't want me looking at any of the village's financial reports
When you say
whatsoever. So this is,
when you say
they is IRH and Cecilia. IRH was,
Who was the village manager at that time?
it was, what is her name? John Townsend, yes.
Okay.
It was John Townsend. Actually, I'm sorry, it was Amara. I'm sorry, it wasn't John Townsend, it was Amara, Dr. Amara. She was the village manager. So when I did explain that to her, she was very upset, you know, about me not being able to go in and take a look at the church, at any financial statement. But here's my problem with this is that it's not about me.
But she did not run you out.
Huh?
She didn't run you out.
She didn't run me out, no.
Okay.
It was because I came in unexpectedly, okay? So all I wanted to do was take a look at the villages. I mean, what were they doing as far as financials?
Have you taken time since then? Chief, how long you been in there?
3 months.
Have you taken within 3 months to get in there, and so that when we got to this point that we wouldn't sit in here and debate this almost an hour?
The meeting that we actually had last Friday, I believe, was a meeting that they should have brought to my attention any financial statements. I asked them for journal entries to show the debits and credits to see where we were if we were balanced up to the point where they actually made the last posting to the jail. I wanted to see those debits and credits. I wanted to see what those entries entailed. That's what I wanted to see. And the IRH or the manager has never brought that to the meeting. Also, other financial statements as well.
Did you ask?
I asked this.
And
I asked this, and I asked them for this information, and they never
the
brought it
village
to me.
manager,
The village
chief of police.
Chief of police, because I'm assuming that they didn't have anything to show me. They didn't have anything to show me. So this is what was told to me. So.
Mayor, Board of Trustees, and residents, I apologize for this extended dialogue. The plan was simply to get the report to Treasurer Dilworth. Treasurer Dilworth had disagreements. We were supposed to get together with the mayor to discuss these agreements before the meeting. This posturing that we're doing here is unnecessary because these are not unknown issues, and we were supposed to meet and discuss these issues before going through all this with the board. So So I would like to apologize to the board in advance for this dialogue as well as the residents, and I'll let the board go on with their business. If they have any additional questions of me, I will answer them.
Trustee Wilson?
Okay. So I'm trying to understand this. We have two reports in front of us. A summary by fund, and then the treasurer's annual report. Should they match? This is a yes or no? Should they match?
John?
Yes.
Attorney, IRH, village manager, anybody, should they match?
They should match. I mean,
Okay, so right now, I see where it says local use tax in the treasurer's annual report, times 480,000. I see over on the summary by fund, a line called special purpose fund. Wait a minute. Local use tax. I saw it over here, local use. I'm not seeing anything under revenues, and Trustee Payton, I know you said it's by fund, but I don't see anything on the summary report under annual report. And I think part of the problem, I don't know if maybe we can fix this coming up, this board never ever sees at any point revenues. We never see like monthly revenues where we can go home and pull out all our reports and summarize them and say that, yes, this is the monthly revenues. I know some other villages do, but we don't. I don't see real estate taxes, it's showing 4 million over here. Where on the summary fund would I see real estate taxes?
it would be in the general fund.
Yeah, Trustee Wilson, that whole issue of reports has been noted, previously.
Okay.
And part of the discussion was that we need to get our accounting system updated. The only problem is that to properly update the system with a new system with the training included is probably going to cost somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000.
Okay.
So it's been very difficult, I've been told, to generate the reports, but the board has not specifically to my knowledge, at least there's not been a consensus to receive reports regarding revenue. I'm sure that they could do that, but there has been no need regarding the revenues because we're more concerned with expenditures, for spending.
In order to have a balanced budget, we need to know how much we're bringing in and how much we're spending. So if we haven't been doing this in the past, I think maybe it's something we should think about. Now, real estate taxes, I'm told, should be under general fund. Okay? What else is under general funds other than real estate taxes?
If you take a look at your budget, you'll see all of the revenue accounts that are under general fund.
So moving forward from right here, and if I have to vote on it, I don't see anything in this treasurer's annual report that matches anything on this summary by fund. And unless somebody can show me where everything is on this summary by fund, we just revenues. Expenditures is 3 pages long, 2.5, 2 3/4. Revenues